Alright, last one of these you are going to try on your own without pictures. Okay. I listed this one up here 3 times, and I listed this one down here 3 times, just in case you can come up with more than one way to do it. If you can come up with more than one way to do it, more than one common denominator, try it out and do it. I'll show you 3 different ways to do each one. Again, if you have problems coming up with a common bottom number, list out your denominators until you find a match. For example, list 8 repeatedly, or not repeatedly, but like 8 count by 8s, count by 4s until you find a match. Down here, count by 2s, 4s, and 10s until you find a match. See if you can come up with more than one way to do it. If you can only come up with one, that's okay. Try this one on your own. Alright, for bottom numbers, I'm going to start here. The easiest one I can think of is 8. 8 goes into 8, 4 goes into 8. That would be 8 times 1, and that would be 4 times 2. So remember, you have to multiply the top by the same thing. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. I have to times the top by the same thing, times it by 2. That's going to be 4. 2 8s, 4 8s. Now if I come over here, let's try another one. Let's see here. 16 I could probably do. That would be 8 times 2 and 4 times 4. So 8 times 2, I have to times the top also by 2, so that would be 4/16. And 4 times 4, so I have to times that by 4, multiply the top and the bottom by the same thing. That's going to be 8/16. And then last one, if I come over here, 20, some of you guys might have done 32. I'm going to do 24. That would be times by 3, and that one would be times by 6. And again, if you're not very good at your basic facts, that multiplication table is going to be very helpful to you, and I feel free to use it. 8 times 3, I have to multiply the top also by 3, would be 6. 4 times 6 is 24. Times by 6, 2 times 6 is 12. And you'll notice in every case, no matter how I split it up, the second fraction is always bigger than the first one for this problem, because that's how it works out for all of them. If I actually drew the picture for all of these and did them all, every time we compared, that second one would be bigger in all the pictures that we drew. Okay? Now, for this one right here, common denominators between 2, 4, and 10. The first one that came to my mind right away was 20. So that would be 2 times 10. That would be 4 times 5. And that would be 10 times 2. Okay? So remember, I have to multiply the top by the same thing, so that's going to be 20/20ths, which makes sense because our original one started out as a whole. 2 seconds would be one whole, so my equal fraction would also have to be a whole. 4 times 5, so we have to do 3 times 5, which is 15. And then down here, 10 times 2 is 20, times that by 2 is 16. Okay? Now let's think of another common bottom number that 2, 4, and 10 go into. I'm thinking, how about 40? Okay. So that's going to be times 20 to get to 2 times 20, 4 times 10, and 10 times 4. Those all get us 40. Okay. Times that by 20, I would have 40/40ths. Times this one by 10, because we have to multiply the top and the bottom by the same thing, that's going to be 30. And times that by 4, that's going to be 32. Last one, another one that all of these go into. Boy, there's a lot of choices. I'm going with 100. I'm going with 100. I know my basic facts. I know that these can all go into 100. 2 times 50 is 100. 4 quarters would be 100, so 4 times 25, and then 10 times 10 is 100. So again, we just have to multiply the top by the same thing, times 50 should be 100, times 25, that's 3 quarters would be 75, and then times 10 is going to be 80. Okay. Again, we are going to use this to find common denominators quite often, but again, it has its definite benefits. If you've got the same size pieces, you're automatically going to know which one's bigger without really thinking about it. If you come down here, 20/20 is a whole. We've got 20 pieces and you have all 20. Having 16 out of 20 is more than having 15 out of 20. And it works the same for every single one.